Yeah. So this one is AC and ventilation system design training. Okay. So there are a
Mm.
lot of people working on as a BIM modeler, or they are working in site supervision, supervisor, construction project manager, or whatever the field. Okay, in the ABP industry. Okay, as a mechanical background.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when you are working with a consultant, okay, so the consultant, how they work, I will explain you. Okay, there are different stages. Okay, you start with the concept design. Then after that, you will
Yeah.
start with the schematic design.
But yeah.
Then you
Detail
will you will work with the detailed design. Then
and
after that,
IFC.
issued for tender. Then after
No,
that,
IF,
issued for construction. Okay.
IFC. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, there is IFT and then IFC.
Mm. Okay.
Okay, so when there is one client, he want to start with one project. Okay, assume that he want to start with a commercial office building, high-rise building, or shopping mall or villa project, whatever he want to start based on the land availability and based on his budget. He want to start the project, right?
Mm.
So the whatever the project is based on, whatever the land available, and also that depends upon the type of project and also the budget availability. That is the basis.
Yeah.
Okay, assume that there is one client. Okay, he have one land like this. For example, as an unshaped land he have.
Yeah.
Okay,
Irregular.
like
Irregular.
you know that in India, say for example, I have a bare land. I want to construct one house, or I want to construct a shop, some shops, something like that. Okay, but in UAE,
Mm.
if you see, there are lot of projects, very high budget project. Like you will see lot of towers. Okay, there are
Yeah.
lot of luxurious project and all. Okay, most of the projects are very high budget project. Okay, so assume that there
Yeah.
is one client, he want to start with one high rise tower project. Okay, so this is
Mm.
the basement and this is your high rise tower project. Okay, so in
Yeah.
this project, so this is your plot availability, and based on the plot, he will the architect, he will approach architect, right? Because whenever the
Yeah.
client,
First of all.
he cannot construct any project without design. So that is the
Mm.
first basis. So he will approach architect. So approach architect means architectural have architect. Basically, he have a multiple discipline. One is a structural, and one is a mechanical engineer. He have a structural engineer, electrical engineer, ELV engineer. There are a lot of engineers.
Yeah.
Okay, below. Okay. So when architectural, he want to start with one project. He have a basement. This is the plot limit. This is the plot limit, and this is the construction like build up area. So this is the basement. So suppose this is the basement. Okay, maybe you can say basement one, basement two, basement three,
Yeah.
multiple basements, or you can say single basement. Okay, then you have a high risk tower project, like say for example, I want to construct 10 floor or 15 floor or 20 floor, depends upon my budget, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, when the consultant, what he will do, he will start analyzing the soil. Okay, so what is the strength it can carry.
Mm.
Okay, so based on that budget, they will decide. Okay, for this construction land, maybe we can decide with the 10 floor, or maybe we can decide with 15 floor. Depends upon the bearing
And
load, how much the load can
bearing
take
load. Yeah.
by the building. Okay, so now the architect, he will start with the one multiple basement, and there is a high rise tower project. Then you have a multiple floors. Okay, ground floor, first floor, second floor, like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so whenever he design the project, he has to follow the local guideline, or he has to follow the international guideline, which is the architectural design guideline. Okay,
Yeah.
so what is the height of the floor? What is the area of the floor? Each and every floor, what is the space requirement? Okay, so that is what, if you
Mm.
see my module one, introduction to architectural design, we are not going to do calculation directly. We also will understand what is the architecture.
Okay.
So there is a site planning, how to understand site planning, what is the plot coverage area, space technical requirement, each and every space, what is the minimum area. Say for example, you have a bedroom. So bedroom have some minimum requirement. You cannot construct a small bedroom. Okay. So because of the
Yeah.
human comfort, okay, there is a height. You cannot construct a 2 meter height or 1.5 meter height, right? Because the
Yeah.
human
It
has
should
to
be minimum
walk. So
two
he should have a minimum space requirement. So that is what we will study:
Yeah.
space technical requirement. What is the opening requirement? How much opening you have to provide for the window or for the
Mm.
any glazing. Okay, so that type of understanding. Then building stories, how many type of floor you are going to build, construction. So based on the type, what is how you decide the floor height. Okay,
Okay.
then after that
Okay.
you have a
Okay.
horizontal circulation area like corridor area, vertical circulation area like you have a staircases, lift,
Mm-hmm.
then you have a multiple
Mm.
electrical room, plant rooms,
Electrical.
fire pump room, then you have a AH rooms, water pump room. So how you design based on the architectural. See, for example, this is the project. He will design, okay, based on the different conditions. Okay, there are different
Yeah.
guidelines.
Mm.
Okay, then after that there are sanitation requirement. So for example, if you construct one project, how many toilet required, how many WC, how
Yeah.
many wash basin required, how many urinal required. So he will decide based on the type of the project and based on the occupancy.
Mhm.
Okay, and also the disposal requirement, landscaping requirement, parking requirement. Say for example, for this type of project, how many parking you have to construct, what is the parking
Yeah.
dimension. So these all the
Mm.
things will be discussed in architectural design. Okay, so once you maybe I will give you some assignment for you to read architectural guidelines so that you will have a basic idea. Say for example, sometime they will say 2.4 4 meter height, sometime they will say 3 meter height. Sometime if you
Mm.
see the project height, the floor height will be 5 meter. Sometime you have a 6
Like
meter, sometime 4.5 meter.
double height areas. Yeah,
Okay,
double
so
height
this
areas.
how to decide, that is based on the architectural guideline.
Guideline. Yeah.
Okay, so that you understanding you will have first. Okay, so suppose you have a this is the vehicle entrance, then the vehicle exit. Okay, then there is a the car park driveway. Then there are parkings, visitor parking. Then there is a electric parking, green vehicle parking. Okay, then you have a multiple basement. In the inside the basement, how to design the car parking, because these are all the things required before you start MEP calculation. See, MEP
Yeah.
calculation means you cannot start simply, right? You should know the basic.
Basic. Yeah.
Okay,
Basic
then
standards we need to
yes,
follow.
then once you study the architectural design, then we will move to the design codes, standards, guidelines. For example, each and every, say for example, you know that AC and ventilation, we start with the ASHRAE, right?
Yeah.
So you will also study ASHRAE guideline. Okay, how to understand the local codes, standards, regulations, guidance, international codes, how to calculate the building envelope, how to design the external temperature, how to size the, how to decide the internal temperature, what is the lighting power densities. So these are all the
Okay.
codes and standards. So if you know this basic information, then you can move to the basic understanding of HVAC basics. Okay, how, so for example, if you talk about one system, say for example, I have a one floor, so I want to design my air conditioning system, correct?
Yeah.
So when you design air conditioning system, there are different properties. Okay, it is not that just you will calculate. Say you might have seen that FC schedule. In the FC schedule, you have a total flow rate.
Yeah.
Okay, then you have a total cooling load, sensible cooling
Cooling
load,
load.
on
Yeah.
coil temperature, off coil temperature, airflow rate. Then you have a chilled water flow rate.
Flow rate. Yes.
Okay, so how to
And
calculate this one?
capacity.
There are different equations.
FCA
Okay, to
capacity
calculate,
also.
yeah, capacity. There are different equations. Okay, what is a sensible load? What is a latent load? What is the properties of the fluid? Okay,
Yeah.
and what is the heat transfer method? You heard about convection, conduction, radiation.
Hmm.
Okay, so you all study the basics before we go to the thermal load calculations. Okay,
Okay.
okay. So to do the thermal load calculation, you also should have a basic idea of psychometric design.
Hmm.
The psychometric design is the basis. Have you done any HAP calculation?
No, no, not done.
Okay. Have you read the psychometric charts?
In the college only, not
Okay. How
in.
to how to how to read the dry bulb temperature? How to read wet bulb temperature? How to read relative humidity? Okay. How
Hmm.
what is the specific humidity? What is enthalpy?
Yeah.
What is specific volume? Okay, so these are the basic understanding. You will have the basic information before you go to the HAP thermal load calculation. Then what you will do, you will install the HAP software in your PC. Then you will study the equations. There are different equations. You heard about what do you mean by total load?
The amount of load required to cool the room.
Okay, there are different type of loads. What are different type of loads?
That I'm not aware.
There is external load and internal load, right?
Hmm.
Okay, external load and internal load, there are different type of heat. There is a sensible heat and latent heat.
Latent heat.
So you will study that what is sensible heat and what is latent heat. There are different equations. Okay, so you will study each and every equations. How to calculate sensible load for the external. How to calculate sensible load for the internal. How to calculate latent load for the external. How to calculate latent load for the internal. Okay.
Okay.
So once you study that one, then you can able to understand the HAP thermal load calculations. How to calculate like U value, U factor, R value, envelope load, occupancy load, lighting load, equipment load, infiltration, ventilation load, bypass factor, thermal load calculation. What is apprentice dew point temperature? What is dew point temperature?
Hmm.
Okay, so
Okay.
these are the basic you will understand. Okay, then after that you can start the HAP thermal load calculation. You can open the HAP software. Then when you enter all the each and every values, you know the basic. Okay, say for example,
Okay.
there is one equation, okay, to calculate your sensible load. Okay, so if you go to the HAP, so how that equation arrived, the same value you will enter in the HAP. So when you enter the value in the HAP, you know what is the equation, right?
Okay.
Then it
Then
is
we
very
come to
easy to
know.
study. Okay, then very easy
Yeah.
to understand. Then you're done with thermal load calculation, then you can create the FC schedule, correct?
Yes.
Okay, once you've done that air conditioning, what it does, it keep on recirculating.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yes.
then after some time it get polluted, the air get polluted. Okay, or they maybe
Yeah. That.
it may increase the humidity. So what you are going to do, you are going to calculate the fresh air calculation to maintain indoor air quality.
Mm.
Okay, so you will study about what is air contaminants and how to calculate air change per hour, how to calculate fresh air calculation, exhaust air calculation, thermal wheel, horseshoe pipe, heater, humidifier. So once you study this one, then you can design your FAHU. So if you have
Mm.
FAHU, you will know that, okay, how to go with the heat wheel, how to go with the cooling coil, how to go with the thermal sensible wheel. Okay, so when the air enter, what is the temperature? And after the heat wheel, what will be the temperature? Before enter the coil, what is the temperature? After the coil, what is the temperature? Before the sensible wheel, what is the temperature? After the sensible, what is the temperature? So when you supply to the room, so what will be the supply temperature? Okay, when you return from the room, it goes to the sensible wheel again. So what is the incoming temperature and what is the outgoing temperature? Then when
Okay.
it before to the enthalpy wheel, what is the temperature and what is the external temperature, which you are going to leave it outside the atmosphere. So how to design the FHU? Sometime you may require heater, sometime you may require steam humidifier.
Mm.
So these are all the things you will understand when you study thoroughly psychometric design.
Okay.
Okay, so once you've done that one, then you will go to AC and ventilation system design training. In that module 7, you will study the general ventilation. General ventilation for what? Such as like a generator room, transformer room, battery room, kitchen ventilation.
Mm.
Clear? Okay, once you've
Yeah.
done all the calculations, then you know the airflow rate. So once you know the
Yes.
airflow rate, then you can easily do the duct sizing, right?
Mm.
But duct sizing also you will study again the basics. What is a laminar flow? What is a turbulent flow? What is the Reynolds number? What is Ashray design criteria? What is the velocity I have to consider? What is the pressure drop I have to consider? What are all the different type of pressure? What is the different type of ducts? Okay,
Mm.
and what is the accessories? You heard about MSFD, you heard about fire
Yes.
damper. Do you know what is the difference between two?
Yeah.
Okay, then we will study the pressure drop calculation based on the Ashray equations.
Okay.
Clear? Okay, so
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
the AC and ventilation system design training. Once you have done with this basics, then it is very easy to study smoke management. Then it is very easy to study chilled water management. Okay, smoke management, what we will study? We will study about staircase pressurization. We will study about lift pressurization. We will study about corridor smoke ventilation. Okay,
Mm.
and you will study what is fire and how that smoke creates. Okay, how
Mm.
many, what is the amount of smoke it creates. So based on that smoke creation, you can design your fan capacity.
Okay.
Okay, it is not only
Exhaust.
simply number of air change per hour.
Mm.
You also design the based on the equations, based on different standards. Okay, then when you go to chilled water system, you will study about water cooled chiller, air cooled chiller, cooling tower, how to calculate. Okay, how to
Mm.
size the pipes, pumps. There are pumps and there is a performance curve. Okay, there is a
Yeah.
system curve. There is a NPSH value. There is a power calculation. Okay, then there is a building pump. There is a condenser water pump. So what is the difference and what is the temperature? What is the on coil temperature? What is the chilled water temperature? Okay, then how to size the pressurization unit? Okay, how to size the what is the air dirt separator, vacuum degusser? What is the purpose? Okay, then
Okay.
you'll be having a pipe sizing, chilled water pipe sizing. Okay, how to calculate the pipe sizing and how to calculate the pump pressure drop, head calculation. So these are all the things we will study in the HVAC part. But I have a three syllabus. One is AC and ventilation, another one is smoke management, another one is
Yeah.
chilled water system.
For
Okay, so
chilled
if you
water system.
thoroughly study, then if I give you the architectural drawing, then you can able to design the complete project. You can create the schematic diagram, you can create the equipment schedule, you can create the markup drawing to the BIM. Okay, so because remember when we give the markup drawing to the BIM, they will generate the layout, they will prepare the layout, like they will keep the FCU, they will keep the duct sizing, they will keep that diffuser.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, so this is what we are training. Whatever I'm teaching is a consultant base. It is not just like institute. Okay, because I'm a consultant background, so I'm going to teach you how the consultant is they are working on in the consultant office. Okay, it
Yeah,
will be like a
definitely.
practical training. Clear? It is not just
Yeah,
simply you are doing just a calculation in Excel sheet. You are getting result. Not like that. Before we do any calculations, you also understand the design codes and you also understand the standards, international regulations, ASTRE standard. Then after that, you will study all the equations, how to calculate each and every heat. Okay. Then after that,
okay.
you will also do the psychometric chart. Based on that, you can able to prepare the equipment schedule for the different equipment like FCU, AHU, fan coil unit, fresh air handling unit, general ventilation fan, kitchen ventilation fan, transformer fan, generator fan. So each and everything if you know the equations, if you know the formula, if you know the standard, it is very easy to design the project. Clear?
Yeah, yes, yes.